Hey everyone, welcome to my channel Awaken Authentic Self. If you are watching me for the first time, I am your host, your life coach, Jill Young. And if you are an existing subscriber, I would like to thank you for supporting this channel. Please do not forget to hit the like and the subscribe. You can also share this video. If it doesn't help you, it may help somebody that you know. So, if you notice this beautiful scarf that I have on, somebody made this and she sells these scarves. So if you are interested in getting a scarf like this one, and it's very, very soft, you can pretty much get it in any color, just send me an email, right, to the email in the description box, and I will tell you how you can get this scarf, and it's very affordable. All right, so I don't know what I'm going to title this video, but I'm sure most of you have heard, because the country is pretty much in an uproar right now about how Donald Trump has tried to send an executive order to say that some people born in this country are not citizens. I'm telling you, y'all, the devil really has a wicked, evil agenda. And he is using his vessels out here to promote his agenda. Just like God is using his vessels to promote his kingdom, the devil in the kingdom of darkness is using certain individuals who have reprobate minds, whose mind is overtaken, people who are out of touch with reality. He is using these people as well. And we have to watch when these people get into leadership. And this is why we need to pray for our leaders. Whether you voted Trump in or did not vote him in, we need to pray for him, because he is clearly out of touch. And not just out of touch, I got to question whether or not, this man is a racist. I believe he could most definitely be a racist. So a judge had to come in. And thank God for educated people. Thank God for those people who dedicate their life to go to school for years and years and years, and they study the law, they study all of these different things so that they can give us a consultation and help us out here. But a Supreme Court judge had to come in and tell him that would be unconstitutional, because that would mean we would need to amend the Constitution, because people who are born here are considered legal citizens, period. And it makes me think about what exactly was he trying to do. See, sometimes, we look at the one thing, but if you have foresight, right, you can kind of see exactly even further down the line of where the enemy is. Like, I'm already 10 steps ahead, because see, the black people, the African American people that are here in this country, we were born here, right? But our ancestors were stolen from another continent and brought here into slavery. So what exactly was Donald Trump trying to do here? What is he trying to say? Now, I did send out a video about this election and how it would affect, how Donald Trump's agenda or his plan would affect minorities. But Donald Trump clearly came in and did things that, that he never said that he was going to do, right? Very, very deceptive, very deceptive. And I still believe that even on the Democratic Party side, that they had a demonic agenda. So it was like a demonic agenda either way. You have Donald Trump, who is kind of attacking, coming in with this racist agenda, and then you have the Democrats that were coming in with this demonic agenda, and this racist agenda is also demonic. So it's like, what side do you pick? I think it's time for the American people to stand up, and on the Democrat side for the next election, and to, take a stand for what are we going to focus on. Are we going to focus on abortion, or are we going to focus on the economy? Are we going to focus on jobs? We should be focusing on things that were completely different. We should not be focusing on gay and lesbian rights and things like that. Maybe that may be part of it, but that doesn't need to be at the forefront. See, because the Republican Party used that. They used that to win. They used that to make Kamala Harris look like she was just out for blood, to take children's lives, innocent children's lives, through this whole abortion and women's rights. So we need to look at the bigger picture, people. We need to look at the bigger picture so that we are not stuck in choosing, leaders and putting them in position that's either too far to the right or too far to the left. So that's one thing to think about. Right, and I'm going off on a tangent because what I really wanted to talk about is how God will use your enemies to bless you. He will use your enemies to bless you. See, Satan walks about as a roaring lion. He has a lot of mouth, but sometimes he cannot back it up. He has a lot of mouth, but it's like he's caged up. Can't be released unless God allows him to be released, right? And if you're a child of God and you're in relationship with God, and you pray to him and you call on his name and ask him for help, he will deliver you every single time. Every single time he will deliver you. He says, sit at my right hand while I make your enemies your footstool. See, what Donald Trump didn't seem to understand is to send back people that were born here and possibly try to create some type of agenda where you can say even African Americans need to go back. He needs to also go back because Christopher Columbus did not discover America. Let's just be real here. This country belonged to the Native Americans. And before the Native Americans, it may not even belong to the Native Americans. Because we all know that the first original man and woman on this planet, the oldest bones that they found on this planet, was from an Ethiopian black woman. And I'm not a racist. I'm going to just make that clear. And I'm speaking the facts. Right? Some people don't always want to believe theories, and they don't want to believe, scientists and or don't want to believe the Bible. But this is a proven fact, my friends. You cannot pull a black person from a white person. Everybody's DNA in this country has some black in it. Everybody's DNA. Trace it back. So, who is really the illegal immigrant? So, right now, not only did the judge step in, this is so prophetic, not only did the judge step in and save those that were born here, but they also saved Donald Trump. They also protected his interests too. You don't want to do that. Sometimes, you got to tell your enemies, you don't want to touch that. You don't want to touch me. You don't want to do that. I've warned you, don't do that. Trust me. Because in order to harm me, if you want to harm me, you are also going to harm yourself. The Bible says, touch not my anointed. Do my prophets no harm. And the thing about it is, because God looks on the heart when he judges man. He does not look at the outward appearance. Your enemies look at you and they think that you're weak because maybe you have parents who weren't born here. Maybe you wasn't born with a gold and silver spoon in your mouth. Maybe you're not the color that is supposed to be the superior color based on society and what society says. And your enemy will look at that and use that and see that as a weakness. But God looks on the heart of a man. This is how God qualifies people. This is how God favors people. It's those who are in relationship with him, those who are humble, right? Those who have the heart of God. You know? We're not thinking about, having a country that is just fully black or fully Indian or fully Asian. We're not thinking like that. We are God's children. It's the human race. It's the human race. God made all of us. We are all here for a purpose. Pretty much most of us were all called, but only few chosen. So you can't just select a group of people and say they are no longer citizens because of their parents. Because truly, you all, us African Americans, our parents, our ancestors, trace back through time, were stolen and brought here. So what is Donald Trump's agenda? What is he trying to say? We need to not forget this during the next election. We need to remember what happened, because see, people will have a tendency to forget. People will have a tendency to get distracted, and by the time we get to the next election, they'll be talking about something else, and people are going to forget what happened the first 100 days that this man got into office. But for those of you out there whose families or yourself may be impacted by all of this, don't you forget it. Don't you forget. Because we can forgive our enemies, but God don't make no fools. God gives us a whole nother intelligence. It's called the Holy Spirit. It's called discernment. And we are to use it, right? We can forgive people all day, but that doesn't mean we have to tolerate their junk. And you can clearly see how God will use the plans of the wicked to bless us. You don't even have to do anything. Half the time you sit back and all you got to do is pray, because see, this is a spiritual battle. And this doesn't mean stop writing your senators. It doesn't mean not to have a voice. But I'm talking about like just complaining and not doing anything at all. Stop that part. Stop that part. Right? And start praying. Pray on a global scale. Pray on a national scale. Pray, for your families, for your own protection. Because God will He will shield the righteous, and He will use those evil plots and plans of the wicked against them. While they think they're about to entrap you and have you tangled up in their web, they're tangling up in the web that they had made for you. They're tangling up in that web. Because see, everybody has to answer to the supreme being. And there is a supreme being. And his name is Jesus. His name is God. Right? Jehovah Rapha, Jehovah Tiskanu, Jehovah Jireh. There is a supreme being that everybody will have to answer to. Even the devil himself will have to answer to. Because his end is disaster. His end is death. And that's the whole evil, wicked plan of the enemy. Is to kill and steal and destroy every blessing, every breakthrough, every inheritance, everything that belongs to you, if you allow it. They don't have the power to take from you if you don't allow it. If you allow it, they'll take it. See, sometimes you can have something you'll still have to fight to keep it. Fight to keep it. Whether that means pray, whether that means have a voice, whether that means write your congregants or look up the law yourself, whatever it means, if it means to join a group, whatever it means to sign, if it means to sign a petition, you have a voice, you make a difference, and your God is using our enemies, for our foot as a footstool. See, he said we will bruise the head of the serpent, the seed of man, right? The seed of Adam will bruise the head of the serpent. Take your authority and bruise the head of the enemy. See, the enemy is afraid of you. That's what this is all is. It's just fear. So what does he do? He tries to instill fear into you. He goes about like a roaring lion. You ever heard thunder when you was a little kid and got afraid? And maybe there was no lightning, but the thunderstorms were coming, and you heard just a lot of rumbling, and it scared you. But what you didn't realize is it was just a noise. It was just, Mother Nature. And this particular type of Mother Nature actually could not harm you. It was just loud. It just seemed scary. But it carried no weight. It carried no harm. That's how the enemy looks right now. They're going about like a lion, like roaring, like they're so powerful. But the enemy does this. You know why? Because the enemy is afraid, because the enemy knows they are outnumbered. The enemy doesn't want you to know that they are outnumbered. They're outnumbered, y'all. There's more of us than there is them. So what are you going to do? What are we going to do? Because truly, we have the power. So take your power back. So that's the talk for today. Something to think about. Please go ahead and comment. I'd love to hear it. Again, like and subscribe. And I will see you back here again another day.